member of the Durham Black Students Network, and I was an executive member of my high school's Black Education student team. On top of that, I also tutored, and I've been an athlete from levels of high school to provincial. So I'm here to speak today on a sort of slight of mental health. Going back about a month when George Floyd was murdered, I felt numb. I'm not an emotional person, and I felt numb for the majority of this year when all these things started coming to light. But George Floyd, his death almost flicked a switch. And when I watched the video of his death, I was outraged. So I went to Facebook, of course, and I shared a long post with the South Ajax Neighbors Facebook group, and everyone was really supportive. They were like, "We stand with you. I love this. I love you. I may not understand, but I do stand," that kind of thing, except for one lady who commented, "All lives matter." So I thought, there's two ways this could have gone. She could just be uneducated on the topic, or she could just be ignorant. I went with the former to just kind of give her the benefit of the doubt. So I just gave her a really nice explanation as to why that was not an appropriate response at this time. And she lost it. She just started throwing things at me left, right, and center that had nothing to do with what I actually said. So I politely responded to every single thing that she wrote down, and I answered what she said, and she just threw something else out. Until she couldn't do it anymore, and she said, "You know what? I'm not arguing with you anymore. Have a nice day." So I said, "You know what? I'm gonna have a nice day, and I'm gonna use this day to make a change." So the day after that, I decided to start an initiative in which I'm collecting, I already said collecting, but I'm taking pieces of everyone's point of view on the movement that's going on now and how it's affected them in the past and how they hope it affects the future. So it's a collection of artwork, personal narratives, personal statements of experience, poetry, creative writing, literally anything that can go on a page. And I hope that with this book, I can have it published and introduced into schools and youth groups so that those that come after us understand what this was all about. And to go along with that, I really follow what Malcolm X said when he said, usually when people are sad, they don't do anything. They just cry about their condition. But when people get angry, that's when they bring about change. I was outraged at that death and everything that came after it and everything that came before it. So I am sick and tired of seeing Black people treated as though they're nothing by the hands of police, people we're supposed to trust. So I'm making a change, and I hope that everyone else here today, this is your first step at making a change. So just keep it going, keep the movement going, because it's not a trend. It's not just gonna fade out when the hashtag does. This is gonna go on for a long time. It's not a quick battle, it's a full-on war. So with that, if anyone is interested in contributing to the project, because I am just taking everyone's statements, there is no wrong point of view. I have an Instagram account set up for it, and it is blm.the_project2020, and I also have an email set up with it, which is blm.the.project2020@gmail.com if anyone needs to reach out. So with that, I would like to introduce Tia.
Thank you, Whitney, for that. So again, my name is Tia. I go to Queens, and my work in Durham so far has been I founded the Unity Initiative, co-founded with my best friend Ciara at St. Mary. And my activism has not stopped there. As in university, I'm now part of the Queen's Student Diversity Project, and also helping to diversify the fashion industry, as that's the industry I'd like to work in after school. So today I'm really going to be talking about my experience in education. And before I start, I would like to acknowledge that I understand and recognize my privilege as a mixed race woman, but at the same time, I'm still perceived as Black to many people, and that has led to the mistreatment of me in academic settings. So I'd like to just talk about how throughout high school, I've always been a pretty high achieving student, hardworking, I would say. Like, I try my best, but I've often found that sometimes my peers and my teachers have kind of thrown this narrative on me that I'm this strong woman who can take anything that comes at me, and I am a pretty strong person, don't get me wrong. But it's gotten to the point where it feels like being called strong is no longer empowering. It feels like it's just I'm wearing my struggles as a badge of honor instead of being validated when I need help. anxiety disorder, and from that I often deal with like perfectionism and always trying to do my best, always trying to craft my work to the best of my ability. But yeah, I've still been told I don't work hard enough or I don't deserve what I work for. And I just wanted to say that we need to honor the mental health of Black women, Black passing women. We need to honor the mental health of dark-skinned Black women especially, and I cannot speak for that tale, but they're so important, and we need to make sure that cases like Toyin do not happen again. We need to protect Black women. And in education, I think it's especially important to note that Black students are often pushed way too hard or not enough at all. We're either told we're amazing or we're told we're nothing. And I just want to say, you don't have to be an extraordinary Black person for your life to matter. So Black women, your lives matter. They matter now. They matter from here on out. That's all.
So before we move on to any more speakers, my uncle, Chris Rouse, who's just over there, will be singing and playing on the guitar Redemption Song by Bob Marley.
Redemption Song by Bob Marley. And we have Chris Rouse. Did I say the name correctly, Chris? And he's going to take us through that song. So please welcome Chris. Thank you.
To my niece, my beautiful niece, my intelligent, powerful, amazing niece, Whitney, for being a voice for the voiceless. And also thank you to the organizers for having me, and thank you to all of you for coming out and supporting the movement. I want to show some love to the organizers and to Colin, our sound person, for hooking up the sound, and everyone involved today. I hope that the song touches you and makes you feel the way that music can make people feel, and that is that love is all that matters, and this is one of the best songs to speak to that. We might have to go a cappella because the guitar is having some challenges, but we'll do our best. And if you feel like singing along, don't be shy. Oh, pirates, yes, there are there, sold out to the merchant ships. Minutes after they took out from the bottomless pit, on my hand was made strong by the hand of the Almighty. We found triumphantly. Won't you help to sing? Everybody sing, come on. These songs is all I ever had. Redemption song, redemption song. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. Have no fear for atomic energy, 'cause none of them can stop the time. How long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? Some say it's just a part of it. We've got to fulfill the book. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? It's all I ever had. Redemption song, redemption song, redemption songs. I want you to help me say. Someone say, freedom. You say, love, peace, and joy. Emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. Have no fear for atomic energy, 'cause none of them can stop at the time. How long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? Ooh, some say it's just a part of it. We've got to fulfill the book. Won't you help to sing? Come on, y'all, everybody sing. These songs of freedom is all I ever had. Redemption songs, songs of freedom is all I ever had. Redemption songs, redemption songs. Can he say? Redemption songs, redemption songs. Loud, yeah, come on. Redemption songs, redemption songs. Oh yeah, redemption songs. Sing it louder, yeah. Redemption songs, redemption songs. Thank you so much. God bless y'all. Black Lives Matter, y'all.
Hi everyone. Sorry about that. It's beautiful to see everyone out here. Thank you for joining us and marching alongside with us. The support and appreciate is extremely appreciated. And I just commend everyone for being out here and joining us today. My name is Nathaniel Luces. I'm a grade 11 student at St. Mary Catholic Secondary School. And I'm here today to talk to you about the lack of diversity in Black history education in our current school curriculums. Firstly, as someone who's a current high school student, already having received my mandatory history credit for graduation eligibility in 2019, it's important to note what the current history curriculum refuses to teach our young students. We are selectively taught what is deemed to be major and important events to have happened in Western and European history, from the World Wars, Great Depression, life in the early 1900s, to the predominantly white and European contributions to society and prolific figures in Canadian history. Granted, these are extremely important events to have happened in our history and should not be forgotten and continue to be taught. However, as a young Black Canadian, this current Eurocentric model for education excludes majority of the key moments in Black history and our major contributions that have helped form the foundations of this nation, not seeming to fit the title of great significance and importance to be taught. Oftentimes, when asked about our major events or contributions in history, we know very minimal of the roles that Black lives have played, nor that of the role that Canadian history has played in Black lives. We all, as Canadians, suffer from something called the angel complex, believing we can do no harm nor wrong, willfully blinding ourselves to our turbulent past and wrongdoings in history. We seem to be unable to acknowledge and accept the fact of our nation's constant silencing, oppression, and systematic racism against Black and racialized communities. I encourage everyone to take a brief moment to think of one significant event or role involving Black lives in Canadian history. Understanding our history, our heritage, our culture, and major contributions to society is imperative in developing our sense of self-worth, respect, pride, and identity. Having a diverse set of leaders and role models to look up to and aspire to be like help us develop as functioning members of society and as human beings. Being able to look back upon our history and the events that changed and shaped our world to what it is today. For Black people's achievements to be celebrated and recognized, for our losses to be mourned as well, are all vital in moving forward and shaping our future, helping to right the wrongs committed and to bring about true, equitable change. Our history is what the future foundations of this country will be built on. Growing up as a young Black male in Canada, not having any major Black Canadian heroes or figures to look up to, changed the way in which I perceived myself in self-worth. I began thinking I was too hideous to ever be seen or valued by another person, that I couldn't possibly ever grow up to become anything more than just average or mediocre, that I couldn't possibly make something of my name or of myself, that my life would only ever be seen as expandable to others. An academic journal I recently read, written from a student at the University of Toronto, published in 2016, had a startling fact recorded from a 2013 study that speaks volumes to this fact. Quote, "Studies confirm members of racial and cultural minority groups are among those most marginalized from the learning process, and that this marginalization stems from a sense of alienation produced by the curriculum content itself. Students feel a sense of disconnect and lack of self-worth from the content in which they are being taught, which is in no way, shape, or form curated or crafted to represent them. We have been silenced and ignored for far too long. It is not enough to celebrate Black history for 1 month at a time, to then be ignored, forgotten, and discarded the moment it's over. It is not enough to place a few posters here and there around our school halls and call it a day. It is not enough for our history to just be a moment and the importance of our lives to trend. It needs to be continuously taught, integrated, and celebrated within our school curriculum and communities. So brothers and sisters, allies, friends, I urge you all to be the change you wish to see. Continue to spread awareness through social media. Actively engage in conversation and listen. Conduct your own research. Sign and create petitions, and write letters to those in power. I strongly urge everyone here to sign the petitions and our petition to further Black education in Ontario. It's going to be read and passed through Parliament, and they need to understand the true significance and importance of reforming our current history and education curriculum. So I want to thank you for standing with me. Black education matters, Black lives matter, Black lives have always mattered, and Black lives will always continue to matter. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Leilani Rocha and I am a University of Guelph student and also a resident of Pickering. community, I believe it is so important to not only support, but to come and listen to our Black peers. So I'm so glad to see so many different faces out here today. Now, I wanted to speak to all the allies here and share a little something that I've learned about being a better ally. Now, if you think about your involvement in this movement, what kind of changes have you made in your own life? Now, some of you may find that you've been solely pointing faults at others and separating yourself from this issue of racism, thinking, I don't say anything racist, I don't have anything to change. But the thing is, we all have a role in systemic oppression. And in order to truly help, we have to first start with ourselves and recognize our own racial privilege as an ally. Now, sometimes when you tell someone that they have privilege, they might get defensive, thinking privilege means your life is perfect and you don't have any hardships. No, you can have a difficult life. But the difference is that you are born with an upper hand in this Canadian society. You may experience hate or violence, but the difference is that your skin is not making you more of a target in the same way as it does for our Black peers. Now I wanted to share a little bit of my experience as a non-Black person of color. I spent my early childhood in Scarborough, so moving to a predominantly white town like Pickering was a big transition for me, and I experienced a lot more racism here than ever before. But because of the pain I faced, primarily at the fault of my white peers, as a kid I initially thought that the words racial privilege could never apply to me. But it does. I do have racial privilege. See, the difference is that sometimes I might feel frustrated or upset when people assume that I'm smart or joke that I'm a terrorist because of my ethnicity. But I cannot imagine to ever one day have to teach my young child the ways to try and innocently avoid being murdered by a cop. There's a big difference between solely experiencing acts of racism like me and growing up in a country where systemic racism towards your community dates back for years and is ingrained in every single aspect of every single system that you come across in your lifetime. This is why, as allies right now, we have to stop grouping people of color together and grouping our experiences with racism together. Because when we group, we fail to empathize, we fail to see the pain and suffering of the Black community, because we're that are all. We need to solely focus on dismantling anti-Black racism, elevating Black voices right now. And I want you to all use this as a sign to really listen and get more involved. Go sign a petition, donate, challenge anti-Blackness in your own communities, in your own biases, in your own families, and do not stay silent. Just remember that focusing on the injustice towards the Black community in Canada right now does not disregard the experiences of everyone else. This is not Black versus white. This is not Black versus cops. This is everyone versus anti-Black racism. Thank you. Yeah, and I'd like to call up Trevin Noble.
Alright, thank you. Everyone hear me alright? Yep, okay. So, hello everyone. My name is Trevin Noble. I am a second-year student at Ontario Tech University. Thank you. I'm also the founder and executive director of the Brothers United Mentorship Program, which is an after-school program that I created 2 years ago to mentor and empower young Black males in the Durham region. Now, at my program, we like to do workshops with the students. Oh, locals? Okay. We like to do workshops with the students. So topics can range from mental health to financial literacy. And one day, we were doing the topic of criminal victimization. So being victimized, again, for the color of your skin. And as we had this discussion with the boys, all of my students being elementary age, so like 10 to 14, we all had this moment of just sharing our stories in relation to law enforcement and some of the issues that these boys have faced in their own lives. And as they told me their stories and the things that they themselves have experienced, the things that their families, their relatives, their mothers, their fathers have experienced, it broke my heart. It broke my heart that these elementary students, these young boys, have to be aware and have had to experience something like this at the age of 10, 11, 12, right? You should be able to play with your friends at the park. You should be able to do all those fun things you want to do, and they're having to be worried about going outside. Are they going to be stopped by an officer because they're perceived as a threat? And the thing that ultimately breaks my heart is that this is being normalized. This is a reality for them. Seeing George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, all of these senseless and needless murders, not accidents, murders, is a normal thing that they have to grow up and witness. Some of these boys genuinely feel in danger whenever they have to go outside. Their parents warn them, do you really need to go out tonight? Do you really need to go out with these friends? They have to act as if their own community, what's supposed to be a home, is a threat to their existence. And children should not have to experience that. Because right now they're in elementary, playing with their friends, but in a few years, they could be in the same position as the young man, Devontae Miller, simply going out for the night, just to be brutalized, beat down, and have his humanity disregarded, just like that. And then to have the same people who brutalized him not even get justice for that. So I just want to encourage all of you guys, like it's been said, not to just treat this like a trend for so many young black men and women. This is life and death. This is not just a hashtag. This is not just another social media challenge. This is a way of life that they have had to endure. So I want to encourage you guys. We need to hold accountable the same people that are supposed to be protecting us. This is ultimately our home. And we should be able to go out with our friends. We should be able to go on a walk without looking over our shoulder to see if a police officer is trailing us. So I want to encourage you, again, whatever you can do, whether it's signing a petition, whether it's supporting protests and events like these, we need to hold these law and these officers accountable. One thing that I personally advocate for is the defunding of the police. I think that if you look at the numbers, the Durham region has given Durham Regional Police over $200 million for 2020 alone. Even 10% of that can be going towards Black and Indigenous initiatives and projects to support and uplift this community. So please do whatever you can to hold law enforcement accountable so that we can all be in our homes safely. Thank you.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Tala Limbu. Thank you so much. I'm a second-year student at the University of Toronto, Scarborough. I am going to be double majoring in neuroscience and health studies co-op. A few days ago, I was asked to write this poem, and let me tell you, it flew right out of me. It was just like poetry on a page. It's a poem, by the way, if you didn't catch that. I titled it, "This System Was Built to Break Us." I hope you enjoy it. This system was built to break us. formed on the grounds of racist minds and hearts full of hatred. 500 years later, we are still fighting these chains, still mentally, emotionally, and spiritually enslaved. Why? Because of the system that was built to break us. Not once have I had a lesson on Black African history. Not once have I been enriched by the golden scripts of my ancestors. Instead, we are fed stories of European slave masters written in our blood. The colonizers who killed us on our own land. Yet you call us violent. We were majestic rulers of our own kingdoms. We were royalty. Correction, we are royalty. Black African history did not start at slavery. Black African history did not begin with the civil rights movement. Our roots run deeper. There was a time where we didn't have it, but we do now, and we will. The system that was built to break us. Why is it that we are the most unemployed race in the world? We work 2 to 3 jobs just to make ends meet, swallow our pride, and endure the pain of the workplace whiplash so our children can eat. When you go into an interview and receive that call back, they will tell you that you are underqualified. Oh, no, you're overqualified. We just regret to inform you that the position has already been filled. You're just not what we're looking for. So never say it's because you're Black, because your skin is too dark, because your attitude is not appropriate, because your hair is not appropriate. This is a crown, and no, you cannot touch it. This system was built to break us. We are taught to listen. You need to listen. Don't talk back. Sit down. Do your work. Get out of the hallway. Stop loitering. You don't want to listen? Go to the office. Stop asking questions. You're lucky I'm going easy on you. In the system built to break us. And why do you think we carry the genes of all these chronic diseases, obesity, diabetes, heart disease? It's not a coincidence. And in the midst of the pandemic, not only are we dying due to racism, we are dying the most from the virus. The government has yet to release the racial statistics on the mortality rate of COVID-19. They know that if you get infected and go to the hospital, there's a high chance you won't get out. Healthcare provided by the system built to break us. As a people, we have faced so much horror and terrorism against our lives, living in a system designed to hold us back and ignore our cries, but no more. We've been bent, but never broken. Today, as a people, we will break these chains. Today, as a people, we will ascend to our rightful thrones. Today, as a people, we will uproot this system. And today, as a people, we will plant the seed for a system built to build us up. Thank you.
I'm a second-year University of Waterloo student studying kinesiology and medical physiology. I grew up in Pickering, Ontario, just down the street from here. And, I had a very good life here. I loved it here. But that does not mean that I did not experience discrimination and racism. People in the Durham region like to pretend that we live in some type of bubble, like racism doesn't exist here. They like to say, oh, that's an American thing. Oh, that's a Toronto thing. But I'm here to tell you that racism exists here today in all of our schools. People here don't understand that racism comes in all shapes and sizes. Racism can be blunt. It can be saying a racial slur straight to my face. But it can also be so subtle in the form of a microaggression. A microaggression is a statement where you are unconsciously having a negative bias towards a group of people. Statements like, oh my, you're so pretty for a Black girl. Or, oh my, you know what, you're so articulate. I was not expecting that. Or, oh, you sound white. Do people think those are compliments? That's not a compliment. You are insinuating. You think that Black girls should be ugly. You think that I should not be able to speak properly. But I'm here to tell you that that is not what Black people are. Black people are beautiful. Black people are excellent. Look at everybody here today. You guys are all representing Black excellence, and I'm so proud to be in front of you guys right now. What we need to do is we need to check our peers. If our peers say something to us that entails some sort of bias towards us, we need to tell them, hey, that was not a compliment. Don't let it slide. And to all the allies here today, I want to thank you guys for showing up, but you need to check your friends. You need to check your non-Black friends. And if they say something like, oh, look at Maya, she's such a pretty Black girl, or so pretty for a Black girl, tell them, that's not a compliment. That is offensive to me and to my people. So, I'm trying to make this quick, but the message that I want to leave with you guys today, to my beautiful Black people here, remember that you are excellent. You can do great things. People don't expect greatness from us. They don't expect us to be in the university level classes, academic level classes. They don't expect that of us. They don't expect us to be on, honor roll. They don't expect us to make the dean's lists. I'm proof of that. I graduated with honors. I'm on the dean's list. We can do it. You know what? We can do it. So we need to break the stereotypes because Black people are beautiful and we are all representing Black excellence here today. So I want to introduce one of my best friends. I love her to death. She's an amazing, amazing person, Miss Ciara Lindsay.
Hey guys, what's up? Can everyone hear me? Yes? Okay, awesome. So a statement that really, as I was kind of like going through social media that really resonated with me was all Black Lives Matter. As a queer Black woman, I find that it's so difficult, even as a Black woman, as a mixed woman, I do acknowledge the fact that I am mixed, that, my lighter skin does give me privilege in society, but as Tia mentioned, I'm seen as Black first, and many of my experiences have happened because I'm, perceived as full Black. I want to acknowledge that
Enough is? Well, we're at the end of our program. Thank you, Paulette. Thank you for the conversation, and I'd like to thank all the youth that spoke, and I thank you for coming out. Now, this is the end of the program for today, but our work is not over. As I said before, please log on to the QR code and let us know if you're interested in hearing more or participate in this struggle. Again, as you go home today, please take home your garbage with you. Please remember that Black Lives Matter. As you work with people and see people around the streets, please treat them as you would treat your own family. If you see something in your work or on your day-to-day travels, if you see something that's not right, please say something, because Black lives matter. Black lives, Black lives, Black lives, Black people in Pickering, Black people in Pickering. Thank you. Okay, so I noticed, our sound person was telling me, we noticed that a lot of people have been taking pictures and videos and all of these great things. We ask that you hashtag it, Break the Chains Pickering. Break the Chains Pickering, and that way we will be able to, Break the Chains PK, Break the Chains PK, any pictures or videos that you have up, and that way we will be able to collect it all. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you for your support, and let's keep fighting, folks.